Welcome back to the Skill Issue 888 channel. It's DP. Um, we here. We here to talk about Marvel Rivals. It's finally here. I've been enjoying it. It seems like a lot of people are loving it. Let's get straight into it. Is this the game? Is this the game that replaces Overwatch? That's what everybody wants to know. So let's dive into it. Um, 6 players, 6v6, based around Marvel characters. Very similar to Overwatch. You have tanks, you have damage or DPSs, and you have support characters. So this is a third-person shooter versus Overwatch, which is first person. Very similar attributes and abilities. Someone asked me how I would describe Marvel Rivals, and I said it's a mix of Overwatch with Marvel characters with a hint of Smite for me, right? I think they pulled inspiration from several different games, and this effort was their attempt at building a game that built on all the pros and alleviated some of those cons. So, could this be an Overwatch killer? The answer for me is possibly. Right, the people determine it. Um, Overwatch is still it's still a quality game. It can be better. It depends on the approach that uh, they take with Overwatch. We'll have to watch and see. Maybe that now that they have Marvel Rivals competing, maybe it'll light a fire and make Overwatch make some changes to make people want to play both games. It's very possible for there to be room for people that play both. So I'm hoping for that as opposed to one game eliminating the other. I kind of seen that with Overwatch and Paladins. Paladins was a fun game, but it wasn't a lot of push behind it as much as Overwatch, and there were some things that could be adjusted, and it just never quite got over that hump. So I don't want to see that happen with these games. I would love Overwatch to get back to being Overwatch that it was when it first came out. Back around the time it got Game of the Year, it was amazing. It was extremely fun. So I'm hoping this lights a fire. But let's get back to Marvel Rivals. So I thoroughly enjoyed this game. As both an MCU fan, but first and foremost, I'm a Marvel kid. I'm an adult that grew up a Marvel kid, collecting cards, reading comics. I still read comics from time to time. Love the cartoons, anime, etc. So this was kind of not just a breath of fresh air, but kind of like a dream come true to have a really cool Marvel game where we get to delve into different characters and a lot of characters we don't normally see and hear about. Cloak and Dagger, Moon Knight, um, Adam Warlock. Even some characters that I'm less familiar with, Squirrel Girl, Jeff the Shark. Seeing some of their take on older characters like a Namor and Captain America and blending what the MCU has made, these characters, what they look like now in comics, along with what they traditionally were. I love how they approach this game. It's been amazing so far. Um, I think that it's only uphill from here, assuming that they stay on the path, stay on the trajectory, because we never know with updates, with changes. You never really know how people are going to approach continuing to build out the game and what direction they're going. But right now, it's a fun game, and I've been on it nonstop. I'm looking forward to trying ranked. I've played a few games. I know the matchmaking because it's still a new game and it's only been out a few days. The matchmaking is gonna have to have some time to kind of be able to sort things through and differentiate those that are casual players or newer players versus those that are more well versed and experienced or just better players. And I think as they do that, ranked will get better. Also, they may want to put in a role queue. I know people don't want to hear it. I know it's an ongoing argument. Oh, we don't want roles like with Overwatch, but here's the reality. There's a strategy to playing the game. There are tactics to playing the game. Each role plays a significant part in winning a game, right? Everybody wants to pick damage. I get it. But you need support, right? Like you're always yelling for healing. You can't get healing if there's no support. And if there is a support and no tank, then who's going to peel for the healers? Who's going to create space for you to capture or to push a payload? Who's going to poke and peel if there's no tank? Damage is not built to do that. Y'all don't sustain in that space trying to do those things. You die either really quickly or you have to remove yourself from the fight really fast. So, with respect to those people that just are surface level with their thoughts and their approach to the game, I just want to, pick a character and shoot, 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 and fight, fight, fight. Um, there's a little more strategy and tactics involved um, that I hope, doesn't fall on deaf ears and doesn't fall by the wayside because there are a lot of people right now just focused on damage. And no, let me pick a support character to do damage. Let me pick a tank and just do damage. Like, no, you have a job to do within each role. I loved that they've defined those roles. You know, they if you pick all damage, you might get high damage, but you might lose really badly, right? Because they can't sustain those fights without the tank, without the support to heal or to provide those sustaining abilities, right? And support feels like support in this game, right? They don't just heal. Heal is a big part of what they do, but like for example, I love Cloak and Dagger. Cloak can cloak you and help protect from ults. He can blind enemies. Um, and also Dagger does a ton of healing. So there's different perks to it. You have a Loki that has a huge ult. If you played Smite, you've played with the Morgan. His ult is the same thing where you can transform to anybody and use their abilities over a set period of time, including their ultimate. So that's huge, right? Because if you have a big player ult like an Iron Man or a Scarlet Witch, whether it's on your team or not, I can transform to that person and potentially get a team kill or get multiple kills that change the trajectory of a fight. So support is huge. Tanks are huge. They can bully you. Like a team, I've been on teams without tanks where we gotten bullied. I've been on a team with the tanks where the other team had mostly damage and they got bullied. It can go that way. Just like you can also pick. I played with a team that did well with two or three supports, and because of all the healing, and we had some really quality damage characters or players that were playing damage characters that they understood how to play. We managed. So I think team comp plays a lot into it as well. Not just picking your favorite character, understand how your character meshes well with your team. Not just thinking about team up abilities. That's can be very helpful, but that's not the end all be all. Understanding like, okay, I'm playing a team full of snipers. Maybe I do need to pick that melee character like an Iron Fist that can get up on these snipers, or a Wolverine that can get up on these snipers, a Black Panther that can get up on these snipers and do a ton of damage, right? Or maybe my team is built to snipe and do damage from a distance. So maybe I need a Hawkeye, a Black Widow, or even a Moon Knight, right? Or Iron Man. Maybe I need to pick a Storm and Iron Man because they have a ton of melee characters, but nobody that can fight from a distance or fight characters flying, for example. So you have to pick based on your team comp and the opposing team's comp and understand what your team needs. And I love that about this game. There is no meta for me right now. I love that as well. I don't think I've played a game that didn't have like one or two OP characters. There's usually like, okay, this is the OP character. No, I feel like this game is probably one of the most balanced games I've ever played in terms of that. Um, these characters all have distinct abilities that match who they are, but also they do a good job of countering other characters, right? Like I love Penny Parker. If I don't view myself as maining a character, but if there was a character I mained, it'd probably be Penny Parker. At least for tank. And Loki does a really good job of countering me if it's a good Loki, because with the decoys you can shoot my web machine, and that gets rid of a lot of the mines and impedes on me sustaining as much. So things like that to me like are really at the forefront of this game. Understanding how to use your tanks like shield characters like Magneto and Doctor Strange to negate ults. Um, Understanding how to use your abilities and when to use them and how they mesh with the team, even without them being team ups. So there's a lot of tactics and strategies that I think Overwatch kind of let fall to the wayside. Like it's important in Overwatch too, but um, people aren't pushed to use it as much. It doesn't impact the game as much if they don't sync ults and if they don't use their abilities in sync with the team as much. I think it can help you win, but if you don't use it and you play more like an individual on a team of people trying to um, push a payload or defend against a team, you can still flourish in Overwatch. Here, you kind of have to be able to mesh with your team. If you try to just go off and do your own thing, you're gonna lose that game 9 times out of 10. So I really enjoy that about Marvel Rivals. It's a phenomenal game so far. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and what you consider to be the pros and cons of this, how you view it in comparison to Overwatch. Are you going to play both? Have you picked a side? Whatever your thoughts, comments are, all are welcome. Whatever your feedback. Until next time,